All right, we are live. The House today is voting to reopen the government. There's Thune, the head of the snake there. I don't see Mike Johnson in here. Guess he doesn't have to be there, right? I think Trump is going to hold an emergency meeting referencing the files. So we will be covering that as well today. Donald Trump in the Epstein files. He'll be, I guess, holding an emergency meeting at the White House sometime today as the House is voting to reopen the government. So this is where we are today, guys. This is what's happening. We're going to watch the House votes real time, and then we will transition to some other things, and then we will probably do some gaming later. But for now, we're going to keep solid eye on these events, guys. This is madness. This is madness. And people want to know. You know, people want to know what's going on. We want full transparency. Hopefully we get it. As much as I like Donald Trump, if he's on the files, I will have to denounce everything. Are there good people who've done terrible things? Yeah. But when it comes to, you know, P3DOs, you know, that's just a hard stop for me. And again, we don't know the age of the victims that's mentioned in that email, so there's a lot of things that we just don't know about. But it's a hard pull for me if that's the case. And it would explain a whole lot. It would explain a whole lot of why the government has been very, very hush-hush about a lot of things. And yeah.
House will be in order. Colleagues, members, please remove your conversations from the floor, clear the aisle so that proceedings in the House may continue. For what purposes, the gentleman from Tennessee rise?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on the Judiciary be discharged from further consideration of H.R. 4405 and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
Under guidelines consistently issued by successive speakers, as recorded in Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, the Chair is constrained not to entertain the request unless it has been cleared by the bipartisan floor and committee leaderships.
These people are so old. I don't even know how much they get paid, but I know all of them have to be millionaires. At least 65%.
What purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Speaker. We Republicans are requesting this unanimous consent. Are Democrats objecting to this request?
Chair reminds the gentleman from Tennessee that as indicated by Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, it is not a proper parliamentary inquiry to ask the Chair to indicate which side of the aisle has failed under the Speaker's guidelines to clear a unanimous consent request, as was stated.
Is the House president a Democrat or Republican?
Does the gentlelady from Minnesota seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, by the direction of the Committee on Rules, I call up House Resolution 873 and ask for its immediate consideration.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Calendar Number 46, House Resolution 873. Resolved, that upon adoption of this resolution, it shall be in order to take from the Speaker's table the bill, H.R. 5371, making continuing appropriations and extensions for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes, with the Senate amendment thereto, and to consider in the House without intervention of any point of order a motion offered by the Chair of the Committee on Appropriations or his designee that the House concur in the Senate amendment. The Senate amendment and the motion shall be considered as read. The motion shall be debatable for 1 hour, equally divided and controlled by the Chair and ranking minority member of the Committee on Appropriations or their respective designees. The previous question shall be considered as ordered on the motion to its adoption without intervening motion.
House will be in order. Gentlelady from Minnesota is recognized for 1 hour.
Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of debate only, I yield the customary 30 minutes to the ranking member from Massachusetts, Mr. McGovern, pending which I yield myself such time as I may consume. During consideration of this resolution, all time yielded is for the purpose of debate only. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, last night, the Rules Committee met and reported a rule providing for the consideration of the motion to concur in the Senate amendment to H.R. 5371, the Continuing Appropriations, Agriculture, Legislative Branch, Military Construction and Veterans Affairs and Extensions Act of 2026. And I am happy to say that it will end the government shutdown. The rule provides 1 hour of debate on the motion, equally divided and controlled by the chair and the ranking member of the Committee on Appropriation or their designees. I rise in support of this rule and the underlying legislation. This bill delivers on our commitment to the American people by finally reopening the government. It delivers on the promises that we have made to our veterans, to our farmers, to our taxpayers. And let's be honest, this government shutdown was completely avoidable. On September 19th, House Republicans passed a continuing resolution that funded critical services and would have given us time to negotiate long-term solutions. It was a yes vote to keep the government open, to pay our troops, air traffic controllers, and federal employees. Every Democrat but one voted no. Every Democrat but one voted to shut the government down. This is not opinion. This is not messaging like Democrats keep trying to spin it. It is a fact that anyone can check the record. Democrats voted against a nonpartisan, clean CR, free of poison pills, and would have continued that would have continued Biden-level funding and kept the government open for negotiations. Democrats chose politics over people. They refused to support a common-sense measure, and American families paid the price. This bill restores stability to our national nutritional programs, which were put under unnecessary strain during the shutdown. It will fund WIC and SNAP, ensuring that low-income mothers and their babies have access to healthy and nutritious foods. These programs should not have been used as a bargaining chip during the shutdown. Republicans are stepping up to protect Americans and ensure these programs remain stable and funded. That is what responsible governance looks like. There are 3 appropriations bills included in this CR, put here to jumpstart our appropriations process. H.R. 5371 delivers for rural America. It provides funding for the Farm Service Agency to support our nation's farmers and ranchers. It invests in rural development programs, including funding affordable rental housing assistance for low-income families and seniors in rural communities. These investments strengthen our local economies and ensure that rural communities are not left behind. For our troops, this bill demonstrates our dedication to veteran medical care, including funding for mental health, telehealth services, homelessness programs, caregiver programs, opioid misuse prevention and treatment, medical research, health care tailored to our female veterans, rural health care initiatives, and construction for new VA hospitals and veteran cemeteries. We're also funding veteran disability programs, education benefits, and employment training. Funds will be invested in military family housing projects to support those that support our troops and in projects to improve quality of life for our service members, including hospitals and schools. Mr. Speaker, H.R. 5371 is what governing with a purpose looks like. If Democrats had joined us in September to pass a common-sense continuing resolution, we could have avoided this Democrat shutdown altogether. But they chose reckless posturing over responsibility. Now Republicans are stepping up to restore stability and reopen the government for the people. I stand in support of this bill, and I urge my colleagues to support H.R. 5371 and stay focused on what matters, serving the American people. With that, Mr. Speaker, I reserve.
Gentlelady reserves her time. Gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the gentlelady from Minnesota for yielding me the customary time, and I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
It's great to see you all, Mr. Speaker. We've been looking for you guys everywhere. Where the hell have you been? Imagine my shock when I found out that you guys went home. 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded, paid vacation for Republicans. And why did Republicans do it? They did it because Democrats had the audacity to ask them to try to lower people's health care costs. And while they sat on their couch for 8 weeks, we were working. We listened to people who told us their health insurance premiums are doubling and tripling. We heard from people who don't understand why you guys moved at the speed of light to give tax breaks to billionaires, but you won't lift a damn finger to extend the tax credits that help ensure people's health insurance premiums don't skyrocket. This CR, this dirty CR, which does nothing to solve the health care crisis, is one of the most immoral, unethical, evil things that I have ever seen happen in all my time in Congress. But it's just part of a larger pattern of indifference from Republicans that we have seen time after time after time. When the billionaire class needed another tax cut, when they wanted to funnel money to the people who write their campaign checks, boy, did Republicans deliver. They rammed through their awful, big, ugly bill in a nanosecond. What the hell is wrong with them? While regular people are struggling to pay bills, Donald Trump's net worth has gone up by $3 billion since he became president. People's health insurance premiums are doubling and tripling, but Republicans say there is no affordability crisis, even as their tariffs are costing people an extra $1,200 per year. Regular people can't afford the rent, and Republicans are letting Trump gild his bathroom and build a ballroom to host the rich and powerful elites who own the GOP. These guys are bailing out Argentina. Argentina! They're giving $40 billion to an entirely different country rather than helping the 42 million Americans who can't afford to put food on the table. And here's the clincher, Mr. Speaker. Buried in this CR is a corrupt kickback for 8 Republican senators, $1 million payday funded by taxpayers, taken straight from the Treasury and deposited directly into their pockets. What the hell is wrong with this place? They promised to put America first. The only thing you guys put first is yourselves. Yourselves and the rich and powerful people who pull your strings behind the scenes. These people don't care. They don't have to call the insurance company because their claim was denied. They don't buy their own groceries. If you have a private jet, an offshore bank account, and an invite to Mar-a-Lago, go ahead and support your Republican representative. But if you're a regular person who feels like you're getting screwed over, if you are fed up with the status quo here in Washington that only works for those at the top, this majority is not fighting for you, but we are. Democrats are on your side, and we will fight with you every step of the way against the corruption, the lies, and the BS coming out of this administration. And we won't back this so-called deal. It's not a real solution, and it is certainly not a clean CR. This CR leaves families twisting in the wind with zero guarantee there will ever be a vote to extend tax credits to help everyday people pay for their health care. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this rule and no on the underlying legislation, and I reserve my time.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentlelady from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And there is so much to unpack and to object to in the ranking member's opening
That's
statement.
insane.
But I just want
Let's
to
see how
come in on
posed
one
she
of the
is with the
issues. And
comeback.
I find the statement that Republicans were on vacation laughable. The idea that Republicans were on vacation during the shutdown, it's just simply false. It's false. Many of us were in Washington, or we were in our districts meeting with constituents, advancing local priorities, and staying fully engaged with our constituents and our work. Our dedication to serving the American people didn't pause during the shutdown. Whether in D.C. or back at home, which for the record, I was in both places, and many, many of my Republican colleagues were too, we were doing the work we were elected to do. And the real story here is not about the absence, it is about the commitment. And for Republicans, we never wavered. If the Democrats cared so much about working, they would not have shut the government down. And with that, I would like to yield 4 minutes to the gentlewoman from North Carolina.